St. Paul Harris Fellowship. I'm standing in today for our president, Kevin Lynch, because Kevin is in Boston on a glad trip with GLI, which is our local chamber of commerce. I want to now remind everybody to please silence your phones. And providing our invitation today is Dr. Rick Smith, Vice President of the Kentucky Council on Post-Secondary Education and Vice Chair of the Rotary Youth and Education Committee.
Good afternoon, everyone. Friends and fellow Rotarians, as we gather here today, we come together not only as a Rotary Club, but as a community united in a shared commitment to service, fellowship, and making a positive impact to the world. In the month of October, we were reminded of the strength, resilience, and hope that define the human spirit. It's a month that the world unites in a common cause, recognizing Breast Cancer Awareness Month. For many of us, this cause holds a deeply personal significance, as we remember a loved one like my mother, who we lost 6 years ago to this devastating disease. Breast Cancer Awareness Month is the time to raise our voice in support of those fighting this battle, to honor the survivors who inspire us with unwavering determination, and to remember those who we lost, whose legacies continue to inspire us today. Let us also remember that the spirit of Rotary is founded on service above self, such as the justice of fighting against breast cancer, requiring the dedication of countless individuals and organizations. Our commitment to service transcends borders and boundaries. In the spirit of our motto, service above self, let us pledge to make a difference in the lives of others, to be a beacon of hope, and to continue working toward a world where we can eradicate not only diseases like breast cancer, but also poverty, illiteracy, suffering, and homelessness. As we embark on another month of service and fellowship, let us carry the memory of our loved ones in our hearts, drawing strength from their courage and resilience. May we be inspired to reach higher, to serve more passionately, and to make a lasting impact on the community and beyond. In this gathering, let us renew our commitment to those ideals of Rotary and to the cause of breast cancer awareness, knowing that together we can create a brighter, healthier, more compassionate world. Let us join in our hearts, in our minds, in a moment of time of meditation as we remember those affected by breast cancer, and as we reaffirm our dedication to service, fellowship, and the betterment of our world. Amen. Thank you, and may the Rotary Club's work continue to shine as a beacon of hope and compassion for all.
Thank you, Rick. Now the leader in the pledge and four-way test is Thomas Stone, owner of the Stone Legal Group and Paul Harris Fellowship.
Thank you, Lori. Let's pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now, four-way test of what we think, say, and do.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Comments? Okay, now we're going to recognize today's guests. So Rotarians, introduce yourself first, then your guests, giving their name, title, and organization. And guests, if you would please stand when you hear your name. Thank you.
Hello, Rotarians. I'm Linda Bartram, and I'm in your Interact chair. And I'm introducing my husband, Gary Moore. Over there, raise your hand here. There he is. All right, so I want Lord gave me permission to do this. On your tables, our interactors at Western High School next Monday are conducting their blood drive. This is our blood drive, but our interactors are affecting it, as in making it happen. So I, Ricardo, Tony Newbury will be there all day, and we want to see you there all day. And Lori told me to tell you it's Halloween and he wants your blood. She told me to say that. So take a look at this. It's got an icon. We do ask that you sign up ahead of time. It's much easier to deal with than walk-ins. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Tony Hammond, and my guest today is my wife, Jean.
Good morning, I'm Alan Settleman. I have two guests with me today, Mike G. Banks, Martin Humes. We work together at Agri Financial, and since we are an agricultural finance company, we thought today's speaker might be particularly interesting. So I'd like to
Fellow Rotarians, my name is Craig Sherman, and I have the pleasure of bringing to you a friend, a neighbor, and I actually refer to her as our spark plug in Anchorage, and it's Kathy Marner, she's over here.
If you are a guest, you're going to want to look for this gentleman at the end of the meeting so that you can do a really quick what is Rotary session. Okay.
Hi, Alex Dupton. This is kind of loud. My guest is Claudette Patton, owner of Patton Law and a candidate for Jefferson County Family Court.
Leslie Smart, and a recent transfer from the Lexington Rotary to Louisville, and happy to be back home here with all of you. My guest today is Adam Haley with Goodwill, and Adam also is a very dedicated volunteer at the Louisville Ballet.
Good afternoon, I'm Adam Hall with the Third Bank, and my guest today is Kathy Dykstra, CEO of Cleveland Stock.
Good afternoon again, everyone. I'm Rick Smith. My guest today is my significant other, Dr. Tashika Carlton. Dr. Carlton is the program director for the Masters of Science program in medical science at Seminary College. So if you know anyone interested in going to medical school, you can see Dr. Carlton.
Hello, everyone. I'm Amy Luttrell from Goodwill Industries, and my guest today is Mason Treneman, and Mason is a candidate for family court judge, so please welcome him.
Hello, I'm Alice Bridges with AOB Consulting, and seated next to me is Casey Foley. Casey's a marketing specialist with the USDA.
Okay, I wasn't kidding yet. If you do have the time, it won't take very much time. Craig Sherman will have a session of what is Rotary. If you are curious about the club, they will meet in the back after this meeting. Now I would like to recognize some Rotarians in the spotlight. When I recognize you, if you will please stand. Congratulations to Barry Allen of the Genes Foundation. Barry, are you here? He's not here, so we'll just have to tell him about it. And Deputy Mayor Nicole George. Is she headed to that? Okay. They were both appointed by Mayor Greenberg to be on the advisory board, which will oversee distribution of opioid settlement funds. And of course, we know how important that work is to our community. So congratulations to Barry and Nicole, and we wish them well. We also want to congratulate these Rotarians who were featured recently in Louisville Business First 20 People to Know in the nonprofit sector. We have Melissa Marble, who is CEO of Zoom Group. We have Leslie Smart, the Executive Director of the Louisville Ballet. And we have Demetrius Wingate, Operations Manager of SOS International. Thank you. So, congratulations. Okay, it is now that I will turn it over to Jay Mallory to induct our new members. He was not able to come at the last minute today, so I'm going to do that. I'll be Jay. Fellow Rotarians, it is the duty of our Rotary Club to add new members from time to time so that we may not only increase our usefulness and influence as a club, but also to extend the spirit of Rotary throughout the community. Today, it is my honor to formally welcome our new members. So I'm going to call the new members up here to stand, and then I'll do the inductions one by one, and you'll get your pin, so don't forget that part. Rinsha Allen, Ishman Perk, and Alexandra Dubnan. If you all please come stand right here in front of the group. Okay, thank you. club because we believe you to be a worthy representative of your calling and to possess qualities that will permit you to exemplify in your public, business, social, and private life the true spirit of Rotary. You have been admitted not only to the Rotary Club of Louisville, but to a worldwide organization of over 46,000 clubs. Now, I always am surprised by that. You know, it's just so extensive, it's so deep, and it's global. I love that. And by virtue of your membership in this club, you will be welcomed into the fellowship of any Rotary Club in the world. And I've also noted that there is a Rotary Club directly across from Windsor Castle, if you ever end up being Rotary membership adds value to those who engage, whether by attending meetings and events, participating in service projects, or sharing your knowledge and talents as we carry out the principles of Rotary into the community. I will now formally introduce you and induct you as a member of the Rotary Club and present your pin. Once I have given you your pin, if you'll please stand up front until all three have been inducted, then we'll do a round of applause and then you can sit back down again. Rensha Allen. Rensha is a brand executive with the Thomas Allen Allstate Agency. She has been working in this field for 5 years and has a degree in business management with a double minor in business administration and marketing from Northern Kentucky University. She's responsible for creating relationships with community partners and acts as the face of the agency by conducting speeches, creating events, and attending networking functions. She also develops social media content. Rensha is a member of the St. Matthew's Chamber of Commerce Board and serves in a leadership role with the Black Alumni Council of NKU. She was raised by her mother and grandmother, both single parents, and is married to Rotarian and club member Thomas Allen. You're right, hanging back. Ishwan Burke. Ishwan has had a distinguished and wide-ranging career in the military, public safety, and higher education realms. He currently serves as Special Assistant to the Professor of Criminal Justice at JCTC. Ishwan has held many positions, including Battalion Commander, Military Police, Fort McClellan, Commissioner of the Kentucky State Police, Secretary of the Kentucky Justice Cabinet, Vice President of Spalding University, and Louisville Metro Police Department Interim Chief. He serves on the boards of Actors Theater, Home of the Innocents, African American Heritage Foundation, Kentucky Veterans Trust Program, West Louisville Boys and Girls Choirs, and the Board of Regents of Kentucky State University. Ishwan is a PS in Education from Lincoln University, an MS in Education from Indiana University, and an MA in Criminology from City University, New York. Certainly not least, we have Alexandra Duggan. Alexandra is a realtor with Realty Advanced. Before embarking on her real estate journey, she was a business development manager for multi-billion-dollar accounting principals, the parent company of which is known as Adecco. She holds a master's degree in human resources, a BA in marketing, and another in management. Her education extends beyond her career, as she is an active member of the Society for Human Resource Management, and now, of course, the Rotary Club of Louisville. Alexandra is in the process of obtaining her Indiana license and interpreter certification for the Kentucky Court of Justice. Originally from the former Yugoslavia, which is now known as Serbia, Croatia, and Bosnia, Alexandra and her family were not shipped in a container to the United States, as many of her friends joke about. Instead, they received support from a Houston-based church facilitating their relocation. This experience has instilled in Alexandra a deep sense of gratitude and a commitment to giving back to the community. She's ready to contribute and make a positive impact, reflecting the generosity that helped her shape her journey. invite Mark Quarles, Executive Director of Bernheim Arboretum and Research Forest, to the podium to share some information on an upcoming social event.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Good. All right. Well, we're here to have some fun because you can only have fun at Bernheim, right? Every time people come to Bernheim, it's beautiful weather. There's always amazing nature going on, and there's always wonderful social interactions. We're inviting you to have a Rotary Day at Bernheim, Saturday, October 14th, from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock will be the formal time. And nothing very formal at Bernheim. We're going to have some fun with a lunch catered there. We're going to have walking tours, solar cart powered tours, a van tour. So there's something for everybody. Families are welcome. We ask that you RSVP by Monday of next week. So it's a quick turnaround. We want you there. We're going to have some fun with some arts. We're going to show you some behind-the-scenes things. We're going to guarantee that we're going to blow your socks off with knowledge about our tree collections, our natural history, and the history of the place itself. So everybody raise your hand and say, I'm going to look at my calendar.
I'm going to look at my calendar.
And I'm going to look at my family's calendar.
Look at my family's calendar.
And we're going to see if we can make it out to Bernheim to have a great time with fellow Rotarians on Saturday the 14th. All right? Details will be sent out. Thank you very much, everyone.
Actually, I run a nonprofit called New Directions, and we're having our second annual board retreat at Bernheim, I think on October 20th. So can't wait to see the Giants are still there too, right? Oh, the Giants. I mean, that's very cool. Okay. Now I'd like to invite Julie Schmidt, Senior Director of External Affairs of KDP, past club president and one of the best known presidents ever, and Paul Periscoe +1 to the podium to introduce today's speaker. And I'm going to go ahead and thank you in advance, Julie, because I'm going to sit down for making this introduction and directly turning it over to the Commissioner. Thank you, Lori. Good afternoon, Rotarians. This is a lot of fun to have the opportunity to introduce someone that I've known for a number of years, and this time in person, Ryan, instead of Zoom, right? I believe that Ryan Quarles is Kentucky's version of Ken Clark, Superman. He's been everywhere throughout our great Commonwealth, working to improve the lives of others and bolstering Kentucky's agricultural economy for a very long time. Ask him how many sets of tires he's bought in the last 2 years. His official bio was circulated in Deline, and it's quite impressive. I hope you had a chance to review. And here are just a few highlights. Commissioner Quarles grew up on his family farm in Scott County and graduated from Scott County High School. He holds 7 college degrees, a doctorate in higher education administration from Vanderbilt University, master's degree in higher education from Harvard University, JD from the University of Kentucky College of Law, and he earned 4 other degrees, including 2 master's degrees from the University of Kentucky. Quarles served as a member of the Kentucky House of Representatives from 2010 to 2014. If you do the math, he was one of the youngest ever elected to the State House. And in 2015, was elected to serve as Kentucky's Commissioner of Agriculture. He was overwhelmingly re-elected in 2019. Commissioner Quarles has been a fierce supporter for farmers and their families, and he's opened up all kinds of new avenues for farmers to increase production and opportunities for new markets. He served on the state and national level, serving in multiple leadership roles, and it's so appreciated for your commitment. And a fun fact, on a Saturday, you might find the Commissioner driving his shiny orange tractor down a main street in one of Kentucky's counties as a marshal in a parade. The time you've been speaking to us today is really fantastic, as post-secondary education system, and he will begin his new position January 2024. We're so excited to have you in this new role, Brian. The Rotary Club of Louisville is proud to have as its members a number of folks that are related to the community college here in Jefferson County. And we have as our former chancellor of the system, Tony, will you please stand? Tony Newberry has been a fantastic leader. And we have others also. Is there anyone else here with JCTC that's in the audience? Well, our Rotary Club has had a wonderful relationship, and we'd love to tell you more about that at another time. And Kevin Wardell, is Kevin here? Kevin is served. He's usually here. He's been a huge supporter as well as others in the Rotary Club. So, Commissioner, perhaps if there's time, you could give us a glimpse into what you'd like to see a vision for your new role, but if not, we'll have to have you back another time. So please give him a warm Rotary welcome.
Good afternoon, and given the timeliness of the announcement of KCTCS, I guess you could say that I'm going back to school. So it's such an honor to be with you all today. I look forward to serving in this new capacity to help better Kentucky. This is about making sure that anybody and everybody has an entry point to higher education to further their dreams, to have upward mobility, and get a better job. Solve some workforce development issues we have in our state. So I'm so excited, and I'm going to double duty today. I'm going to talk a little bit about KCTCS. Let's talk about agriculture first. And we just performed an agricultural act, and so let's give our cooks and those who service our food a round of applause, and the farmers. I grew up on a tobacco farm. Anybody here working tobacco in life? Just look around. It's a motivator, okay? My mom spent 30 years at Kentucky State University teaching people how to become nurses. Both my parents grew up at near poverty levels. There was a point in each of my parents' lives where they did not have any more money. And they were first generation college goers. They met in the UK. My dad didn't have the money for a dorm room, so he slept in the greenhouse, okay, on a cot. And that's where they started. And at a young age, growing up on a tobacco farm and countless other rural Kentuckians, my mom told me, you're going to go to college, you're going to pay for it yourself, and you have a choice, either work in tobacco or study. And so it was a motivator of mine, okay? And so I went on to UK, and she put the fear of God into me. And I was motivated. I took 27 hours a semester while in the UK just to get it. And so for me, I'm a firm believer that education is the great equalizer in life. That if you work hard enough, you study, and you apply yourself, in this country, dreams come true every single day. And that's why I'm so excited to start this new chapter in my life that focuses on opportunities for all Kentuckians. But if you like agriculture like I do, let's learn a little bit more about it today, and I look forward to some questions. But first off, Kentucky's agricultural edifice is very large. It's the second biggest employer in Kentucky. I don't know that. Manufacturing's first, agriculture second. We have a $45 billion economic impact. About 20% of the state's GDP is agriculture. It brings in $8 billion into the back pockets of our men and women who farm. And Kentucky's farmers are 35% are female. It's the highest in the nation. The highest in the nation. Which I think is incredible. And one out of every 10 Kentucky farmers serve this in uniform before they go back to the field. So we have a strong veteran presence that we reward through our Kentucky Proud program every single year. So let's think about ag in an active way right now. We bring in an economic power punch, particularly in our rural counties. A lot of counties is the #1 economic driver. And even here in Louisville, people don't know this. People don't know this. But Louisville is a leading agricultural county. There's some things that happen here that simply do not happen anywhere else in the United States, including 3 signature events that Jefferson County calls on. Number 1 is the State Fair. Please tell me you been to the State Fair. I'm like the mayor of the State Fair. I get to spend 12 days of my life there. In fact, I counted up, I spent 3 months living in the fairgrounds. There are about 2 terms to ag commissioner. This year, we sold a country ham for $10 million. So for charity, if you all want a country ham, I'll give you the friend discount, 10% off. So you know, I'll sell that to you. It's consistently rated one of the best state fairs in America. Over 500,000 people come here. And it's one of the few times where every single county in Kentucky comes to celebrate agriculture. So we like to educate people about the power that ag has in our community. The second biggest event is going to occur next month. It's called the North American International Livestock Exposition. Anyone been to this before? A few. For those of you who don't know, it is the largest purebred livestock show in the world. A lot of people don't know that. They have 30,000 animals on the site, and this is the best of the best. And it truly is an international marketing and commerce meeting. You get people here from Argentina, Poland, Mexico, people around the world come to Kentucky to buy genetics. And the next signature event is my favorite. Can anyone guess? The tractor show. Yes. And there's some more teams there. So the National Farm Machinery Show is held at the American Expo Center. And it is the largest indoor farm show in this hemisphere. I think it's in the world. And for those of you who don't know much about it, it's like the Detroit Auto Show for John Deere and for Case. And it's so cool. I always get out of farm work. When I was a kid, come to Louisville and get to see the latest gadgets. And it really is driving our agricultural tech conversation in Kentucky as well. And one of the cool things is that the Farm Machinery Show is always held during Valentine's Day. So if you're looking for something romantic to do, take them to see tractors in Louisville. They stick with you, you know. But I must have a fourth event. A fourth event that's really unique. The Dealey Block Fest. Our office has been so involved in that, bringing animals into Dulu. It's just such a great organization for the Kentucky Farm Bureau, and really letting young kids in our FFA chapters, which Louisville has an FFA chapter, Future Farmers of America, and what we're doing by. But when you let a young child pet a cow or a lamb or a goat and see that there's some dirt on his hands that we call soil, they might be inspired to agriculture as a career. And that is a big issue that we're going to have to address. But here are a few fun things about Kentucky Ag. We are a top 15 state in corn, $1 billion crop, soybeans, $1 billion crop, wheat, $600 million a year. We're still a leader in tobacco, although it's not nearly the presence, a fraction of the size that it used to be. We are the biggest beef cattle state east of the Mississippi River, which we're proud of. But can anyone guess what the #1 agricultural commodity is in our state? Soybeans. Not soybeans. Good guess though.
Corn.
Yeah, no. We're famous for it. Chicken. We make Colonel Sanders proud today. $1.4 billion in chicken raised every single year out of Kentucky. We sell McDonald's 190 million pounds of chicken every year. Kentucky does. Anyone here have a biscuit from McDonald's? Raise your hand. There's some buyers out there. Everyone had a biscuit from McDonald's. If you've had a biscuit from McDonald's anywhere on the East Coast of the United States, it came from Kentucky. It came from Kentucky. In fact, down in Hopkinsville, where our ethanol plant is, which I was just at 2 nights ago, they returned $300 million back to their farmers because it's farmer-owned, it's a co-op. It's known as the batter capital of the world. So a lot of your cornmeal, your pancake meal, all comes from Kentucky. And of course, the next fact I know you're going to get, because it's good, all the sausage that Cracker Barrel serves in all their 647 locations comes from Simpsonville. And so Kentucky, believe it or not, with Cornell's, we punch above our weight class. We have a lot to be proud of. And there's 76,000 farms, which translates into 76,000 almost exclusively I'm ninth generation. We've been here since the 1780s, farming. A lot of Kentuckians have that sort of identity. So when I travel abroad and try to sell Kentucky agriculture, three things come to mind: fast horses, bourbon, and Colonel Sanders. And all three of those are agricultural products. And so we have such a strong name ID without having to explain to people what Kentucky is, who we are. And that really gives us a head start compared to other states. Now, those are some fun statistics. Let me give you some gritty, on the ground, what's happened in the last few years. During COVID, there's two groups of workers that I sincerely hope and deserve to get credit. Number one, are healthcare heroes, people like my mom who are a nurse, continue to keep us safe. Number two are the farmers of Kentucky, because they stepped up to the challenge of feeding a hungry state, nation, and oh, by the way, American farmers feed untold millions around the world. It's a humanitarian effort. And the average Kentucky farmer feeds 170 people. The efficiency is unmatched. It's unmatched in other industries. That we not only do it well, we do it great. And we continue to self-improve all the time. Now, during COVID, we learned that there were some weaknesses in our food system. Remember going to the grocery store trying to find meat in April 2020? It showed that there's fractures. And over the past 4 years, 3 or 4 years, we have helped expand something that I know everyone in here is going to be excited about. That's local food, our farmers markets, and our iconic Kentucky Proud brand. We have helped support 30 meat processors here in Kentucky, because if given a choice, our consumers want to support local, they're willing to pay an extra nickel for it if they know that it benefits Kentucky farm families as well. So we continue to do that. Which brings me to the next point. When I took office almost 8 years ago, about 20% of our public schools were serving something that was produced locally. And because of COVID, because of our strong commitment to the Buy Local program and some federal grant money we helped pull down, I can now say that over 1,000 Kentucky public schools are serving Kentucky Proud Menu. And that's a good thing, including and Louisville leads with our farmers market footprint. We have 170 farmers markets for folks like my uncle that sells the market. It really is an awesome way for you, if you want to put your money in your mouth, to support local agriculture and meet the farmer that grows your food as well. Now, the Department of Agriculture, we're a large, complex organization. Yes, agriculture is in our title, but that's just one of the things that we do. I like to remind folks that half of my employees carry out functions that have little to do with agriculture. I like to tell people that if you weigh your vehicle on the side of the interstate, if you're to sell gold at the pawn store, if you're to check out at any grocery store in Kentucky, if you're to put fuel in your gas tank, if you're to fly out of any airport in Kentucky, including the Louisville Airport, it's the Kentucky Department of Agriculture that plays a consumer protection role. That we perform well over 600,000 inspections, working with our business community to make sure that we're following the rules that the General Assembly put out. And so a lot of our employees don't have offices, they don't have desks, they have trucks. So if you ever see a KDA employee out there on the road, say thank you for what they do, because they make sure that the rules are enforced and that we have commerce open for business, especially during COVID-19. Here are a few of the things that we do. We oversee hemp programs, someone mentioned hemp earlier, other highly regulated crops. We oversee the ginseng production in Kentucky. We are the biggest ginseng producing state in North America, period. Most of it goes to China. And we had a producer, and there's a ginseng harvest season. And most ginseng producers like to carry sidearms with them while they're harvesting. It's a really interesting crop. Someone uprooted a ginseng tree 2 years ago, one plant that sold for $100,000 in China. And so there's these odd little pedigree you see at the Department of Agriculture. A lot of people may not be aware of it. We work with 90 county fairs. Obviously, the Kentucky State Fair of Agricultural shows as well. We have a nationally recognized farm safety program that now has a mental health component to it as well, that helps benefit not just farmers, but rural Kentuckians. Folks that we want to make sure to know there's help out there, something new that we established. We also house the state veterinarian. Basically, the top veterinarian in Kentucky is employed at the Kentucky Department of Agriculture. We have a new Dr. Steve Velasco, just got started. And one of the things we're doing on the veterinarian side is that there's a lack and shortage of large animal vets, not just in Kentucky, but in the rural area. It's hard to get people to want to work outside, work around big animals. So we are working with Auburn University, the CELU, try to encourage more people to choose large animal vet practice. Another interesting thing that we do is that we have oversight over every animal disease in Kentucky, except for pets. We're not the Department of Pets, okay? We're Department of Agriculture. So these things called coronaviruses you may have heard about, they run naturally through the bovine and equine birds, and they have for decades. So we have a lot of regulatory practice. So when Churchill Downs has the Kentucky Derby, pretty race day, the Kingdom's going to open tomorrow, our staff is there making sure that there's emphasis on animal health, particularly when it comes to disease mitigation and prevention as well. So that's what the Kentucky Department of Agriculture does. We do have some challenges. And I would imagine in your business world, wherever you work, there's some challenges as well. The biggest challenge is people don't know what we do. We spend a lot of our time going to our schools. We have 3 dedicated employees that literally travel and take a classroom with them around rural Kentucky and urban Kentucky. So that's an agriculture classroom that just teaches people where their food comes from. Because less than 2% of the population feeds the rest of the country. And no other country matches us on the efficiencies and innovations we have here. But when you have less than 2% feeding everyone, and you go back to World War II, half of America's population were farmers. A lot of people forget. They forget about where their food comes from. So we spend a lot of time on education. Another big issue right now is labor. It's hard to find people who will work outside and work with their hands. The average age of a farmer in Kentucky is 62 years old. Think of the average age. And so we have got to do something to help motivate more people to choose agriculture. The average age is going to retirement age. And so that's why we promote 4-H and FFA programs. One of the cool things that came out of COVID is a lot of people who have been disconnected from the farm may go back to rural areas and say, I'm trying to handle this. And so we want to make sure that using our Kentucky Proud program, that we're very inclusive. And we have programs that other states don't have. Due to the settlement of the back settlement agreement back in 1998, Kentucky gets funds as well as other states. And we are fortunate that we reinvest half of our back money back into agriculture. So I get to chair a grant-making organization called Kentucky Office of Ag Policy, $40 million a year. We have distributed close to $1 billion over the past 20 years out to agriculture. It's benefited the fairgrounds, benefited our producers, but also chair its sister component, a publicly owned bank called Kentucky Ag Finance Corporation. And I'm going to wake you all up here in a second. Our interest rate is 2.5%. So if you know someone that's an agribusiness producer that's looking to expand, buy property, set up a new processing facility, including right here in downtown Louisville, let us know. We'll help make that happen as well. And lastly, we have started a conversation about hunger in Kentucky by engaging our producers, the ones that produce our food, with those who unfortunately are unable to provide and they need help. And we have partnered with Dare Care and our food banks to help raise money for the Kentucky Hunger initiatives. And little did I know back in 2016 when we started this conversation that years later we have a global pandemic. And so when the shutdowns occurred, we were the first state to turn our schools into food distribution centers. To say, yes, you can pick up a hot meal. We continue to help recover from tornadoes in western Kentucky, eastern Kentucky floods, other natural disasters, that we take pride in helping people out. But at the same time, we're going to put food into our food banks and food pantries. Why not make that Kentucky proud? Let our farmers benefit from that and perhaps create a new market and maybe, just maybe, create a new consumer base that says, I I'm going to buy something local next time I go to the grocery store. So I have about 3 months left in office, and here's what I'm focused on. At KDA, I'm focused on 3 things: running part of the bag for the ticker team. So we're going to continue to run that organization to the best of our ability. Number 2, if I ever borrowed my dad's truck when I was growing up, you better bring it back with a full tank of fuel. Okay, otherwise there are consequences. So I'm leaving the Department of Ag with a full tank of gas to the next commissioner of agriculture. Number 3, I hope people look back and say that we were responsive during times of need for our farmers, whether it's farm bill, whether it's natural disasters, etc., that we were there for those folks. Those are the 3 things I'm focused on. KCTCS, I literally was announced last Friday, so it hasn't even been a week yet. The number 1 thing I'm going to do is learn. It's so important that I take time to learn from our faculty, staff, from our students, from our presidents. I'm not sure if Andy is here, but I learned that I got the job while at a JCTC at last week, where they're raising money for the foundation. And I look back and can definitively say that it was my mother who spent 30 years in the classroom as a public educator, who went back and got a PhD later in life. She inspired me to do the same thing. That you never know what the influence that an educator will have on somebody's life, with assuredly on mine. I wouldn't be without that. I think that community technical colleges play a special role in access, affordability, but also on workforce development. That's an issue in Kentucky. You're hearing about it a lot these days. That's where we need to pick up the baton, and JCTC is doing one of the best jobs in the state. So please support it. And I look forward to working with council on post-secondary education on what's next. But I think it's important that we focus on the needs of employers. We need more folks like the folks I grew up with, work with their hands, welders, electricians, skilled trades, that sometimes have a starting salary of $70,000, $80,000, $1,000 a year. Tomorrow, when in Fleming County, there's a welding school where every month a 20-year-old Kentuckian has a starting salary of $100,000 a year. Those are the jobs that Kentucky employers need. We want to fill that gap while at the same time making sure that our community technical colleges have that strong transfer component. But if a student wants to start there, get associates, and transfer it into the UL, that's needs to make sure we have that pathway there as well. I'm a humble guy. I've had an extremely, on a personal level, just an amazing ride the last 13 years in public office. And I look forward to transitioning to a different type of public service. You don't have to be elected to be a public servant. It's about giving back, and that's what I plan on doing. So, I have one piece of homework for you. If there's ways you can help out JCTC or the Kentucky Community Technical Colleges as a whole, please let me know. I got plenty of business cards for today. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Okay. Easy for me, I have this memorized, but it's much like the bell, it's a good thing to have it in front of you. So thank you very much, Commissioner, that was wonderful. We're going to do our questions and answers portion of the program now. The Commissioner, if anybody has any questions, go back, you see the microphone in the very back. Make sure you introduce yourself so that he will know who's asking the question. And you can say where you are from if you are interested in sharing that as well. And of course, you know, every week we put up the Q&A rules, so please also be mindful of those.
Well, for you, sir, it's difficult to know how to address you, so I'll just say Commissioner President Dr. Quarles.
I responded much less.
My name is Tom Bonert, and I'm a city boy. I've been all my life, and I thank you for enlightening us. I'm sure a lot of us in the room are city people. But I have 2 questions. The first has to do with corporations coming in and buying farms. And I think that's, as I understand, that's a lot more prevalent in some of our neighboring states than it is in Kentucky, but I'd be interested in hearing that. And also a very basic question is, when we think of farms, we think of just land and land and land. But I'm just curious, what is the size of an average farm in Kentucky?
Great question. The average size of a farm in Kentucky is around 170 acres. Now, that may sound big. An acre, for those who may be spatially challenged, is about the size of a football field, over 43,000 square feet. And so 170 may sound like a lot, but the national average of a farm in America is around 475 acres, and it continues to go up. So Kentucky Ag has a lot of small farms. When you fly over Kentucky, it looks like a patchwork quilt. That's an asset. We have diversity and we have variety. Because, especially those who came from tobacco backgrounds, we grow about 400 different crops in our state. A lot of genetic diversity. We go out into the flatlanders, those states are wide. Their ag economies are focused on maybe 5 crops. Here, we have the biggest chia farm in North America growing here. We're growing indigo for organic blue jean production in our state. There's a lot of cool things that you don't need a whole lot of acres to do. In fact, into your corporate land ownership or foreign land ownership, there is land owned in Kentucky, about 4 entities. And it's not as prevalent in other states, but in Kentucky, a lot of it is concentrated in central Kentucky with, no surprise, the thoroughbred industry. And so, Juddmonte owns a lot of Saudis. You have the Sheikh of Dubai, who owns Godolphin. So a lot of these are heavy investors. And most people would say that their involvement in our economy has been a positive thing. Now, other states like Arkansas are just completely, they're on a path towards making it illegal for China to own farmland. And that argument is based in the conversation not about food production, but on what national security should encompass. And a lot of state legislators are going to be taking action on that.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Quarles, I think I've been to every talk you've given to this Rotary Club since you became the Agricultural Commissioner, and I appreciate the education you give us, being a city boy like my friend Tom. But I did travel all over the state of Kentucky in my job when I was younger, and got to know a number of people that own farms. But there is a question I want to ask you about the kind of cultural difference between rural and urban. And there's a lot of tension sometimes between those two cultures. And you mentioned, get to meet the farmer at the farmer's market. Is there some idea you have about how this might be improved? It's really, we're all in the same commonwealth, we're all in the same boat, we're all trying to get to the same place, I think. So I'm just interested in your take on that.
That's a great point. And there is a rural-urban divide in America. You see it in politics, you see it sometimes culturally, but for me, it's about bringing us together. And so there's a few things that we're doing that we can do better. Number one, not everybody farms, but hopefully everybody eats. And so if we're able to tell a story that maybe having a QR scan about the origin of where your food came from, whether it's a product menu on Morristown Road, where the farms come from, that's a win. Whether it's in the grocery store, this is something that Kroger has done, is that you can actually meet the farmer that grew it, have a background about where that protein or vegetable may have come from as well. But for me, it's about getting to our schools. We talk a lot about the STEM aspects, science, technology, engineering, math. But for me, it's STEAM, science, technology, engineering, agriculture, and math. Because it also addresses the career opportunities that we have. You don't live in rural Kentucky with work in agriculture, case in point, ag finance grants here. Is that I think that we need to have, in the rural schools are doing really well. It's not a criticism, but we need to do a better job, particularly at lunchtime, explaining and exploring about where food comes from. That's why our farm to school and our farm to campus program are very vital. But the best way, living in Louisville, to learn about ag, is go to the state fair. And don't just go there for the donut, okay?
Thank you.
Commissioner Quarles, well, Coons here. I've got a phone question for you. Oh, I have a dear friend who's not with us anymore. He went to Center College, and he was a Baker Scholar at Harvard, and all he wanted to do was farm. And he was from Henry County, and his favorite day of school was drive your tractor to school. I'm not kidding. So, are you John Deere or Massey Ferguson?
My current job, my new job requires me to be nonpartisan. But my granddad came back from World War II as a Marine and started our family farm back using shiny orange Alice Palmer's tractors, which were gobbled up by the ag government. But it's still today, we're like the holdout. So we're like the 1%ers, not the Bernie Sanders 1%ers. The 1%ers that still use these orange tractors. Great question.
Leslie Smart, thank you so much for your service, and I have to share, I'm so excited about your new role. My aunt was a founding dean of nursing at JCC and served in healthcare and education, so really excited about what you're going to accomplish in the future for Kentucky. Selfishly, I have to ask a question. I think we watched in anticipation about the growth of App Harvest. Personally, we were investors in that, and I know it's recently been acquired. I'm curious what your thoughts are about the future.
Great. So those of you who are familiar, we have a growing, what we call controlled environment greenhouse industry, not just Kentucky, but nationwide. It really is based off the European and Holland models of animal production. The biggest food producer in Europe is teeny tiny Netherlands, and because they have embraced controlled environment. It will eventually work in America, but sometimes in a startup culture, when you're the first one out to walk the plank, it's tough, and there's a level of risk involved. And there are other large-scale greenhouses in Kentucky, one's down in Stanford that are doing well. They're using Israeli technology right now. But right now, we are blessed with a lot of land. We are the safest, most abundant food supply system in the world. Safest, most abundant food supply system in the world. And so we simply have economy and scales that other countries don't have, and that's one of the reasons why it's difficult for a controlled environment to really take off and compete with traditional agriculture. The other thing is our R&D here is fantastic. And so this year, there's a little bit of a drought going on right now. I'm sure you've all seen it. We have some record high corn yields because of genetics better. But for me as ag commissioner and government guy, I want every business to succeed. And you're in a high-risk, innovative startup culture. Sometimes it's going to be some failures.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Quarles. It's great to see you in Jefferson County again. I'm Barbara Sexton Smith, and I'd like for you to talk a little bit about how many black farmers, or what percentage of our farmers are black in Kentucky, and what are we doing that is a very meaningfully measurable impact to help promote equity in farming as it relates to black farmers?
That's a great question. And sadly, the statistics are not as well known as they should be. And we do work with USDA and NASS, National Agricultural Statistics Service, to try to yield better data. We just finished the 2022 Census of Agriculture. You hear of the U.S. Census every 10 years and agriculture every 5 years. That's a starting point about knowing. But what we do know is that Kentucky State University, one of our HBCUs, who is a land-grant university from the 1890 Morrill Act, which followed, of course, the 1862 Morrill Act, set up our land grant system, has a special mission, one that we fully support, that has to help with minority and resource-stressed farmers in Kentucky. Another issue that our state is addressing and needs to continue to address is what's called heirs property as well. In the Deep South, it's a bigger issue, that you may have a piece of property that's owned by 20, 30, 50 family members. And if you can imagine owning a business asset, We have so many other partners, and this land gets piled all through. And so that's something that other states have addressed, help clean that up so that minority farmers are able to inherit property and work on that. The other good thing that Kentucky has going for it, and I'll be the first to tell you we're not perfect, there's a lot of ground to make it up, is that we have not one, but two of the best minority agricultural social fraternity stories in the nation. It's called Banners. UK and KSU. And they are nationally recognized every year of what they do for promoting minority opportunities in agriculture, something we financially support at the Department of Agriculture. When I was chairman of all the National Ag Commissioners of America, we have a conference right here in Louisville, and the farmers love staying in the city lot. We launched a partnership with Manners so that any student that is a Manners chapter member can come to apply for a scholarship, not only come to our conferences, but also get in front of our employers as well. It's not just in production agriculture, but it's also in our agribusinesses as well. And so there's a lot of work to be done on that. And thank you for asking that question.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Quarles. My name is Rick Harnan. I grew up with relatives farming down in Hopkinsville, Christian County, but I've been here in Louisville 50 years now. But my question is that a couple of years ago, there was an awful lot of information and promotion about the importance of the hemp industry for Kentucky. But I haven't heard much about it recently. What's going on with hemp?
There will be a Career Journal article come out about this at the end of the month. That, long story short, Kentucky was one of the first states to have commercial hemp production. The first recorded crop was in 1775 in England. And it was one of Kentucky's first commercial crops. Henry Clay promoted hemp, and he conveniently was Secretary of War at the time. And he didn't sell Kentucky hemp to the Navy. No conflict of interest. And so Kentucky for two centuries, 1700s, 1800s, the clearly number one hemp producing state in America. It was a cash crop that rivaled the World tobacco at the time. 1937, the Marijuana Tax Act essentially took hemp away as a legal crop in America. Those are a legal crop. There's still some hemp being grown. I think the field, Kentucky, World War II comes around. Kentucky farmers like my family got an exemption and permit to grow it for the help out war effort. And essentially they formed it until 1970 when hemp and marijuana and choose the hemp folklore that you want to believe in were put underneath the Controlled Substance Act, which then classified as a controlled substance. 2014 came along, Farm Bill allowed a very narrow research exemption. U of L has been actually part of our partners. And long story short, we eventually took it from illegal to research. In 2018 Farm Bill, legal production in America. And what do farmers do? We grow our way out of prosperity. We literally grow our way out of prosperity. Hemp production ramped up exponentially in America in 2019. The production market that turns that raw hemp into products that you may choose to legally buy was not fully developed. In many ways, it still isn't. It's market correction. And so now we have about a couple thousand acres that are grown. We have 150 or so hemp farmers in Kentucky. We are advising everyone today, like we did back when we took office. It's an experimental crop. Assess your financial risk at the farm level. Be careful. But there are some hemp companies that are doing pretty well. We're making hardwood floors right now in Murray, Kentucky. We're using soybeans as the pieces, so it's 100% renewable. I'm getting over here. And, you can go to Kroger today, buy hemp parts, put them on your salad. But CBD, the number one impediment to the hemp industry in America is the Food and Drug Administration not doing the job. And it's not a hard issue, it's not a weak issue. The FDA needs to give guidance to the hemp community about what's legal or what's not. Is it a nutraceutical? Can you put it in drinks? Can you put it in food, etc.? Because there are hemp companies in America that own exclusive contracts with national pharmacy retailers. Ones that you can drive around here and see that Kentucky will be the epicenter. But some learning, there's been some trial and error along the way. Thank you all so much.
Very informative, and I feel confident that every single person in here, whether you are rural or urban, learned something today. I know I learned several things. It's very informative and very much appreciated. I also appreciate the questioners. All of you all had great questions today. And I do want to know that Deputy Mayor Barbara Sexton Smith, one of our questioners, is actually the mayor today, I believe. Is that correct? Yes, so we have the mayor in the house, right? Okay, so very appreciated. You'll pick one and give us the last, I think it's the last 3 numbers. And then whoever wins this can go over and see our Executive Director, Delene Taylor, over here in the gold color, to pick out which book that you would like to select that has been donated by one of our members.
Okay, last 3 numbers. 4, 5, 8.
All right, stand adjourned. Y'all have a great rest of your day.
Right there, with the